It's another battle for the Aggies, and the KSL Sports Zone has it covered. The Aggies head to California for a chance to get bowl eligible against Fresno State. Your home for all the play-by-play coverage of Aggie football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. We are live here at Bar Dub Grill in Nephi. We want you to come on by, taste these burgers. They've got the sliders. They've got so much great food available for you here at Bar Dub Grill. And by the way, do we still got Spud Nuts available? Oh, yeah.
Spud Nuts are on the table?
Spud Nuts are still here. They go fast, but there's still some available if you want to try some of those.
Yeah, and the whole family can share one.
Yes.
They're
massive. They got these massive, they look like a donut, but they're a Spud Nut, and then they take the donut hole and just stick it right back in there.
Yeah, they fry it and stick it right back on top. So it looks like a little golfer's hat.
Yeah. It's so good. All right, joining us now, one of our favorites from Bleacher Report, NBA writer Andy Bailey, kind enough to hang out with us. Andy, how you doing?
Hey, Andy.
I am doing pretty well. How are you guys?
We're good. The Jazz are just good enough to stay reasonably competitive. You're seeing flashes from the Jazz. What are your early indications from this Will Hardy team?
I kind of mirror everything that you just said. I think it's kind of fascinating that in all but maybe one of the seasons since the Mitchell and Gobert trades, Utah has been a little bit better than maybe they're supposed to be. And I didn't really anticipate it with this team. I thought that this was going to be one of the years that they could just stay near the very bottom or the top, however you want to see it, of the tank race throughout the season. And they've just been better than that. I think it's a testament to Lauri Markkanen. It's a testament to Will Hardy. I think the development of Keontae George is kind of an underrated national storyline. There's a lot of good things happening with this team right now, depending on how you feel about tanking, I guess.
Well, Andy, help us square this away, because you mentioned Lauri Markkanen, and he's averaging just over 30 points a game. He's put up multiple 40-point performances. He got a 51-point performance through this season. He has been nothing short of tremendous. What do the Utah Jazz do with Lauri Markkanen? Do they build? Do they trade? What would you do, and what do you see the Utah Jazz doing with him? And he's currently in the All-Star. He currently would be an All-Star out of the West, would he not?
I think he would have to be. And it's so funny that, again, since the Mitchell trade, which is what brought Markkanen to the Jazz, this has been an almost constant question. And at the time, he was young enough to say, well, he's going to be part of whatever the next good team is, but now he's 28. And so maybe there's a little bit more of an appetite to move him now, because so much of the rest of the team is in their early 20s, and it may be a couple years before they're truly contenders. But seeing what he's doing this season, I think it makes it harder to trade him, because with the way that players' careers go now, he probably still has 4 or 5 years left of his prime. Obviously, pushing for lottery odds hasn't gotten them a talent as good as Lauri Markkanen to this point, and so there's no guarantee if you trade him that you will find that guy. He is a phenomenal and really unique kind of a player. I think if you want to be a contender and have Markkanen on your team, you need a really good high volume playmaker, and I'm not sure Utah has that yet. But the more we've seen him in a Jazz jersey, the harder it is to imagine, okay, we're just going to give up this foundation or building block level talent to keep spinning the wheel in the lottery, because that frankly hasn't worked all that well over the last few seasons. And you have this guy who's so good that he keeps you relatively competitive as long as he's on the floor. At each passing season, I think more and more, maybe he does have to be a part of the next good Jazz team.
Is Ace Bailey what you anticipated he would be at this point in the early part of his first season, or is he ahead of schedule?
I would say maybe slightly ahead of schedule, not blowing me away. I had some concerns about him throughout his freshman season at Rutgers that I don't feel like were talked about quite as much elsewhere. He had kind of low numbers in the what I call the ancillary categories. Everybody loves points, but he didn't have huge rebounding or assist or steal or block numbers, if I remember right, when he was at Rutgers. And so that was a bit of a concern to me, and I think that's maybe carried over a bit to his time with the Jazz so far, short as it is. But he's a teenager. He has had a couple of impressive games here in the regular season. He had some impressive preseason performances too. And I actually think there are some, aspects of his game that look better in the NBA than they did in college. He was in kind of a weird system in Rutgers. I think they let him maybe do a little bit too much with the ball. I think he streamlined his game a little bit with the Jazz. I think he's been more efficient with his touches, less dribbling, less holding the ball. Maybe he's picking some of that up from Markkanen just by watching him. I'm sure he's getting some coaching to that effect too. So I actually do think that he's a little bit better than I expected him to be at this point. Like 8 points a game isn't going to blow anybody's socks off, and he still has some work to do in some of those other categories. But I would say, yeah, he's slightly ahead of the schedule that I would have had for him.
So, Andy, last year OKC dominates the league with 68 regular season wins. They've started out on another hot streak, kind of picking up where they've left off, sitting at 14-1, just leading the West, and really dominated the regular season through the West last season. Is it just business as usual for OKC, or are they the given favorite out of the West, or do you feel like somebody could be a contender right now?
I think they're the overwhelming favorite, and I was just thinking about them in relation to the Nuggets this morning. It's just maybe a team that could challenge them. But I think what really sets OKC apart, and this was true all last season too, and for most of the playoffs, they really don't have down nights in terms of the energy that they bring. And what made me think of that is the Nuggets just lost to the Bulls last night. The Bulls the night before lost to the Jazz in double overtime. So Chicago was on the second night of a back-to-back. It's historically one of the tougher back-to-backs in the NBA to go from Utah to Denver. They were in double overtime. So it was essentially a schedule loss for Chicago. Almost every team in the NBA loses that game. But Denver just showed up and kind of mailed it in on the defensive end, and they paid for it. They lost. And a lot of teams do that. They have nights where they just aren't clicking on either end of the floor. When it's an effort thing, it's usually on the defensive end that you're not clicking. And that just doesn't happen with OKC. I'm sure if I talked to a diehard Thunder fan who's watched every game for the last 2 years, he could probably point out a couple times when they didn't look quite as engaged as they always do. But I haven't really seen that game. And I've watched plenty of them over the last couple of years. They always bring tons of effort. And when you add that, I think they may be the hardest playing team in the league. Add that to the level of talent that they have, then that's why we saw a team break the point differential record last year, and they're 14-1 this year, and they just won the championship despite being one of the youngest teams in the league. Like in all my years covering the NBA, I'm not sure I've ever seen. Well, I know I haven't seen anything quite like this because, like I said, they're breaking records. So definitionally, we haven't seen this. It really is crazy. I mean, I think they can be beat in the playoffs. Again, Denver is a team that I think could maybe get them. I think Houston is really interesting right now. But if you had to make a prediction, I think you'd be crazy to go with anybody but them, but the Thunder.
If you were to – and again, I'm not talking about long-term potential. I'm just talking about the first 3 weeks of the season. Have you been surprised with VJ Edgecombe, or did you anticipate that he would do this? And who is your first month rookie of the year? Is it Edgecombe over Flagg?
Edgecombe has surprised me. I was relatively high on him, but I had similar concerns with him that I had with Ace Bailey. I don't think I mentioned this when we were talking about Bailey, but his scoring efficiency didn't really leap off the screen at Rutgers, and that was, I think, the same thing with Edgecombe. So I thought he might struggle with that a little bit in the NBA, and he's been better than I expected. And I love his approach and his demeanor. I think it's funny that Philadelphia for years and years and years was one of the least watchable teams in the NBA to me. And now they have these two exciting young guards in Edgecombe and Maxey that just make them really, really fun. So he has been a pleasant surprise. I actually think this draft class is loaded with pleasant surprises. I think the rookie of the year to this point is probably Con Knippel, who I figured would be good, and he would just he'd find his role quickly, he'd fill gaps, he'd do little stuff that doesn't show up on the box score, and he's doing all that, but he's also scoring, and he's also getting assists, and he's stepped in to this starting role with Brandon Miller out like he's a 5-year veteran. He has looked really, really good to me. And Cooper Flagg, ever since Dallas abandoned the let's make Cooper Flagg a point guard experiment, has looked really good too. I think there was a lot of talk about this draft heading into it. You guys will remember most of the season, even though Bailey went 5th. Him, Harper, and Flagg got a lot of attention during the college season, and everybody said it kind of drops off after that. It's kind of an underwhelming draft. But I think this class has a chance to be quite a bit better than people anticipated, and a lot of the guys we expected to be good are good. Harper's another one I think looks pretty solid to me, but then there's a bunch of guys that have been good that really didn't get any attention during the college season. Like Cedric Coward has been awesome for Memphis. Kalkbrenner I think was a second-round pick. He's been really good for Charlotte. Like there's a lot of guys up and down this draft that are just solid already.
What have you thought about the 8th pick to Brooklyn, Yegor Damon, BYU guard?
I liked him at BYU. He's a guy, I guess, if I had to say whether they're above or below expectations so far this season, he's maybe a little below for me, but I'm certainly not ready to abandon ship because I liked him a lot at BYU. I've always been a sucker for guys who are both tall and can create, and I think he has that. I think he has developed a little bit over the course of this really, really short, NBA career that he's had. One thing that blew my mind was, I don't remember how many games it was, but it was 3 or 4 games into the season, and he hadn't even attempted a 2-pointer. Literally every shot he took was a 3, and I think it became a mini story, and he realized that, and he's gotten inside the 3-point line a little bit. So he's shown improvement in certain areas, but he's a guy even when he was at BYU, I really liked his feel for the game. I liked the combination of size and playmaking, and I think he's going to be fine. He's also in just a really tough situation. Anybody who was going to end up in Brooklyn, especially with 4 other first-round picks, it would have been a long learning curve. So it could take a while before we see whatever his peak is. But I'm not ready to give up on him. That's for sure.
Andy Bailey, kind enough to join us right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. All right, so projecting down the line for the Jazz, anticipating what this team might look like. Granted, they'll come back down to earth a little bit, even though 5-8 isn't anything to get overly excited about.
Yeah, but still sitting in the play-in right now.
Yeah, still hanging in there. What do you anticipate this season looks like for the Jazz?
It's so hard because you wouldn't be remotely surprised to see them trade Markkanen. It wouldn't surprise me. And you guys may have a different feel for that than I do, but I just wouldn't be stunned. And if that happens, I think they probably end up with one of the 5 or 6 best shots at the first pick again, and they take another shot at the lottery. And I wouldn't blame them for leaning into that because this draft class has Devanza and Peterson and Boozer. And so even if you don't get the first pick, you might get a franchise-level talent. And the connection with Devanza in Utah is obviously really cool. And so if they chase that, I totally get it. The Walker Kessler injury, I think, kind of changes things too because I think he makes them a lot better, and they've obviously won some games since he went down. But I think him staying in the lineup probably would have improved their win-loss record too. So if they move Markkanen and they're already down Walker Kessler, they probably head towards the top of the lottery. But if they keep Markkanen, which also wouldn't surprise me, I think they probably do hover around 10th or 11th and maybe even have a shot at the play-in tournament, which isn't necessarily a terrible thing. Like we spend so much time as analysts and fans like hoping for teams to bottom out and get the superstar in the draft, and nobody wants to be stuck in that play-in purgatory. It doesn't do anybody any good. And the more I do this, the more I wonder if that is the right approach. Whatever path you take, you got to get lucky. And competitiveness and experience of those play-in games wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing. Like Keontae George is still only 22 years old. Isaiah Collier's 21, or they're around there. There's plenty of time for these guys to develop. It would be crazy. I don't think either one of them is going to be a superstar, but it would be crazy for me to say there's no chance for either one of those guys or some of the other guys who are on the younger guys who are on the roster. So I would also, this is a very wishy-washy answer. I wouldn't be surprised to see them stay on this pace that they're on right now and stay around the play-in. And part of it, too, is the bottom of each conference has some really bad teams. At this point, it seems like it might be hard for Utah to catch New Orleans if they really want to chase lottery odds. It'd be hard for them to catch those cellar-dwelling teams in the East. So even if they do lean into a tank, you might not get better than the fifth or sixth best odds anyway. So it's way too early to say like they're locked into 10th, but there's a decent chance they, I think, finish in that like 10, 11, 12 range.
Are your expectations on the ceiling of Keontae George changing a little bit by how he started the season?
For sure. He was a guy, as a rookie, when I saw him in Summer League, I thought he's better than I thought he would be, and that sort of changes the trajectory of Utah a little bit. And then he had sort of a, I guess, underwhelming first and second seasons in the NBA, but he's just been, again, I think that's one of the most underrated stories in the league right now is just how good he's been. And he's got very inefficient scoring numbers right now, which is, I guess, a problem. I don't think it's that big of a problem when you're 22 years old. The fact that he's averaging 22 and 7, I think is super impressive. He's hit some big shots. He's not afraid to take threes, even though they aren't falling right now. And I like the way that he shoots, which I think is pretty important for a young guy. His form looks good to me. I just said a minute ago, I don't know if he's going to be a star, but this first 2 or 3 weeks, whatever it's been of this season, I think it's opened my mind to the possibility that, yeah, maybe he can be a really good combo guard, maybe even a really, really good point guard. I think he's absolutely changed my perception of his potential in these first couple weeks.
Well, we appreciate your time, Andy. Thanks for joining us on short notice. Look forward to catching up with you again down the line.
Needed this conversation.
Yeah, always love chatting with you guys.
There he is.
Back at you.
Andy Bailey, one of the best when it comes to breaking down the NBA.
Yeah, he knows it really well. He says if they keep Lowry, they're going to be hovering around that play-in. And, I'm to the point, after watching the Jazz with the worst record fall to the 5th pick, I'm to the point now where you play it out, you give it all you got, you try to impress the fans, you try to make sure that your players are getting everything they need to be great. Yeah. And you let the chips fall.
Don't mess with the basketball gods anymore.
No. Dallas receiving Cooper Flagg. And now, look, I would say there's probably a couple out of the draft class that are currently outperforming Flagg. Now, Flagg might eventually end up being what we all thought he was going to be, a world-class basketball player and one of the top 5 stars in the league at some point. But right now, it's just playing out different.
Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Every company out there has to have their own Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
And from what I understand, Jeremy is Bar W's Tiger Woods.
Yes, he is. He would like you to refer to him as state champ, home run champ, Jeremy, though.
Absolutely.
That's what I learned. He admonished me, got after me a little bit, and said, come on, let put a little respect on my name. Because he does have a baseball championship.
No big deal.
I don't remember that conversation. And
there's a lot of conversations with Hans that come up later that you're not quite sure if they're real or not. But.
Do you shove it in Bart's face, though, a little bit? You hold it over his head?
Every time I see him.
Good, you should.
Every time.
Man, we had a blast out on the course. It's fun to just be out there and swinging the sticks a little bit, talking about the beef. Jeremy, tell us about how did this dream come to order for you? How did you get involved in this Bar W Beef venture?
This was kind of a surprise for me. When I started working for Corey and we started developing some things, he dropped this bomb on me that we were going to do a processing plant. A bit of a shocker when he originally brought it up, thinking, what the heck do we want to get into this for? And it just kind of went from there. After we started researching and seeing the gaps that are in the industry with the quality of facilities that there are out there and where everyone's meat is coming from, it became we absolutely have to do this.
You know, the interesting thing is, so you get the processing plant, and I'm a huge fan of that because of what you guys are able to deliver and the quality of beef that you're delivering to people all across the now United States. But then you're like, okay, well, that was fun. Now what are we going to do? Oh, we're going to start not just a grill, but also a steak restaurant as well. I mean, you guys, I mean,
all in.
Boredom isn't your cup of tea around here.
Absolutely not. You know, and we seen a gap there also. I mean, you know what it's like where you go in and you get this phenomenal steak, and it just changes your perspective on what meat can be like. And then you'll go in somewhere else and have one that's like, that was subpar. Right? After seeing the quality of meat here that we get from these cattle that are raised all by us from beginning to finish, seeing the consistency that we can get, the dry aging that we can do in there, and then, I mean, I've tasted some of these steaks that we've cooked through this steakhouse. I mean, cooking it yourself is one thing, but when you have a world-class chef that comes in and cooks that.
With the right heats and the right chars and the right temperatures.
Exactly. Just those seasonings and getting that steak. You know, I was talking with Todd the other day, and we were going through just even the chuck rolls. You guys have had the pot roast here.
Oh,
You had the chance to. Oh yeah, you're a big pot roast fan.
Oh yeah, I've been singing its praises.
Right.
Yeah.
And he was telling me about some other chuck rolls that he got from, just from a different place. And he said it's just not. You cut into them and it's just different. They're soft. They're just not there. We've got a special product down here.
You taste it immediately when you, and whether it's a burger or a steak or a roast, they're all dry aged 14 days.
Yeah, everything. Yep, everything.
One thing I want to do is just give a shout out to Corey, the Wright family.
Oh yeah,
because this is where it's all come from.
For sure.
Corey's been ranching, and he's been a member of this community for many, many, many years, and he saw it as an opportunity to better the community.
Yes.
And they went all in, spared no cost, state-of-the-art processing facility, state-of-the-art restaurant, both grill and steak restaurant. And, Jeremy, it's pretty impressive to see a man and a family commit to a community like that, because I know that this does help him, but this helps this community. Nephi just took a big step up in everybody's books with these processing facilities in this restaurant.
100%. Yeah, hats off to him of having that vision of where we wanted to go and what we wanted to do to be that contributing member of the community. And not even just, it's awesome that it's here in Nephi and we get the benefits of having this steakhouse and the grill here. But that processing facility, it spreads statewide, right? Mm-hmm. This is something that's come in and makes it available to have this top-notch, world-class meat from this crazy nice facility that is just, when you go in there and you see your USDA inspector buying from you, you know you're doing something right?
Well, you know what else I love? I love the fact that I could be raising a couple of cattle in Payson and I could bring them and have them processed in the facility.
100%, and we're known for cattle in Utah. I mean, we grow some of the best cattle in the world right here. And those families, this gives them that opportunity to be able to process beef, to be able to have it custom cut, aged to your specifications. Yeah, just a great contribution to our community.
It's really incredible. And the great thing is you can come down to the processing plant. You're like, hey, I just want to take a look at the place. Somebody will walk you through. They've got nothing to hide. It's a complete transparent organization here. You guys will show everything from where these cattle are raised to where they're processed from, and it goes from the ranch right to your plate here at the Bar Dub Grill. Come on by, Nephi Exit 222. We'll talk more about their Thanksgiving dinner. You can have your entire Thanksgiving dinner taken care of. You want more details on that? Go to bardubgrill.com. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
It's time to saddle up and talk about the winners and the losers. This is the good, the bad, and the ugly. Now, here's the good.
It is your good, it is your bad, it is your ugly right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. But before we get to the good, Hands, let's give away some tickets.
It's Jazz Ticket Tuesday, and your chance to win tickets is right now.
Call this number now.
Call this number now.
Be caller number 12 at 801-575-ZONE. 801-575-ZONE. And you'll be on your way to Delta Center to see the Utah Jazz.
He fires the three. He hits. Oh, don't do me like that.
This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, the Oklahoma City Thunder coming to Delta Center November 21st. You want those tickets? Be calling number 12 right now, 801-575-ZONE. All right, Hans, we always talk about how quarterbacks are perceived in a locker room, and sometimes when they play well, guys love them up, but sometimes when they struggle, sometimes teammates turn on them a little bit. Well, let's talk about Seattle, as Sam Darnold did not have himself a particularly great game. But tell you what, Ernest Jones came up and let's just say he had his back.
I mean, Sam's been balling. Like, if we want to try to define Sam by this game or what, man, Sam's had us in every game. So for him to sit there and say, "Oh, that's my fault," no, it's not. There was plays that defensively we could have made plays. There were opportunities where we could have got better stops. It's football, man. And he's our quarterback. We got his back, and you got anything to say, quite frankly, you.
So he's sticking up for his quarterback, Sam Darnold. Now let's go to Denver. After Denver gets the win, and Bo Nix has been run through the ringer leading up to that game against Kansas City. Everybody's saying Bo Nix isn't any good. Bo Nix isn't any good. Well, Adam Troutman from that offense, well, he was sticking up for his quarterback.
First off, if you're talking about Bo online, you're a coward. Absolute coward. But I just want to say that and guard him a little bit. But, I mean, it says a lot. You know, he blanks it out, and we talked about it this week. We don't care what other people think. We know what we have in the building, and we know what he's made of, and we don't really care what people have to say. So, Dragon Slayer 69 with his 7-Eleven Slurpee in his mom's basement, I don't give a what he has to say, right? And Bo doesn't either. So, yeah.
So, how about that?
Dude's getting their quarterbacks back, man.
I think it's good, man. I like it. I like it when guys are coming out. And first off, I don't think anybody should be paying attention to what anybody's saying about them on social media.
Well, who's talking about Bo?
Bo was getting ripped apart last week because Denver was just barely winning games, and it was all about their defense that was getting it done. And people are saying, Denver's offense, they're frauds because they don't have an offense. They've got a Super Bowl caliber defense, but their offense stinks, and Bo's no good. And,
yeah, I just think we need to get a grip on who we're listening to.
That's what I think. I mean, you can't be overly upset about if a talking head whose job it is to come up with big, bold opinions on stuff, and if these guys don't believe half of the crap they say.
Right.
And you can't be offended by that stuff.
No, because everybody's got an opinion.
Yeah.
Everybody hates somebody.
Yeah.
Everybody's always jealous.
Yeah. All right, there's your good. Let's get to the bad.
Now the bad.
So we talked a little bit about this bad in the opener. Our Arizona State star quarterback Sam Levit is seeking potential landing spots for a transfer portal.
Yeah.
This according to actually one or two websites, but I guess I take it with a grain of salt a bit. But On 3 is pretty accurate.
They're solid. They're solid.
They're pretty accurate.
Yeah. And, I mean, honestly, you read this, does this sound outlandish to you?
It doesn't sound outlandish. What it sounds like to me, a little bit, it sounds like an agent saying, hey, Sam, I think we need to leverage things right now. Mm-hmm. Now, Sam got injured. A couple of things. Number one, Sam Levit is projected as a very high draft pick when he's ready because he's got the build, he's got the arm, and he's got the brain to be a good NFL quarterback. Well, this Liz Frank injury has become a bit of a problem for Sam. Nobody wants to see that injury. It can be a problem as a quarterback. So I'm sure everybody's kind of slowing down on it a little bit. But I bet his agent's like, we need to get the money now because who knows how long this thing's going to keep going.
Is he really an NFL quarterback?
Yeah, I do think he's an NFL quarterback. I do. I think he's got the goods to be an NFL quarterback. But, he and his agent and everybody else is saying, we got to get it while we can. Reports are he's making $2.5 to $3 million at Arizona State.
Yep.
I think they want to get to 6 to 8. I think they want to make NFL-level money and at least get him a nest egg so that he feels like, well, I can just go and play and everything past this point. If I've got $2 million in the bank liquid, then I'll be fine wherever I go, whatever I do. I'm only 23, 24. So I think it's a ploy. I think it's a push.
I do too. It wouldn't surprise me if he stays at Arizona State. But I think you hit on something too. If Kenny Dillingham goes to LSU or takes one of these other big jobs that are out there, then I'm sure he's going to want to take his quarterback with him.
I think that's the other kind of point to this. I think it's a bit of an indicator that Dillingham is not squarely anchored in Phoenix.
Yeah.
Is he a Sun Devil alumni?
Yes.
So you would think that would help a little bit, but he has been begging for people to pay more attention to his Sun Devils.
Yes.
Begging. Like more than any coach I've ever seen. I need your participation. I need your dollars, your marketing dollars. I need your NIL dollars. I need you to be at the games. We need you. Like I've seen him constantly appealing to his fan base like, I need, which is telling me he's not getting what he wants.
No.
And it makes me wonder a little bit if he's going to leverage that, like, hey, I'm a hot commodity too, so if I'm not going to get what I need out of you, and we're not going to make the Sun Devils the biggest and best thing in the country, well, I'm going to go where somebody does pay attention.
Yeah. And look, you could be doing all kinds of great things, and you could get James Franklin tomorrow. So get the money while you can.
Yeah.
All right, there's the bad. Let's quickly get to the ugly.
And of course, the ugly.
I don't mean to laugh at this because it's obviously a horrific situation, but it just.
I don't know how Shedeur Sanders stays in the news.
He just finds a way, unfortunately, and this isn't a good story at all.
His house was broken into while he was starting in that game against the Baltimore Ravens. Not starting, debuting in that game against the Baltimore Ravens. And I don't know how he stays in the news. I don't know. It just feels like everything is – you just always question everything.
Yeah.
He says $200,000 was stolen from his house. Okay, so in jewelry, like – if somebody broke into my house, the most they go away with is like $8,000, and that's if they took the sink out of the cabinet or out of the countertop, like,
or the microwave oven.
Or the microwave oven. That's going to net you $620. It's a good microwave oven, but it's still $620. If somebody's walking away with a couple $100,000. Officials say the suspects arrived at about 6:46 p.m., got what they needed, and got out by 6:58 p.m. There is security surveillance cameras that caught the intruders. They were all masked. They got in, they got out. They left with a couple $100,000, and it's like, how does Shedeur? How is he always in the news, man? And it's like always negative, and it's either him miming to the camera, like oddly, or him being torn apart by Rex Ryan, or him going.
4 of 16.
4 of 16 for 48 yards.
And an interception.
I think it's coming to a close.
I do too.
Pretty close.
Because ultimately you have to ask yourself, if you're running a team, is his talent worth the headache? And they're going to come to the conclusion that, like, no, it's not. He's not worth the headache. Look, if he was a number 1 overall pick, if he was a star in this league, then you put up with the nonsense because the returns are worth it. The returns aren't worth it right now. And I don't think they ever will be.
The investigation's ongoing. I would take a wide range of outcomes for the investigation.
Yeah. $200,000. You're right. Like, it used to be, somebody go in and steal your TV, but TV, you can get I saw a 98-inch TV available on a Black Friday deal for $1,000.
That's amazing.
Like, you take somebody's TV, you're taking $1,200 TV. Like, it's nothing.
Unless he had 298-inch screen TVs in his house.
All right, Old World News coming up next. Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Go! It's time to span the globe for the hard-hitting news you care about. Well, not really. But hey, at least we found it interesting. This is Whole World News on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
We've got the whole world in our hands.
You got the whole world in our hands. We've got the whole world in our hands.
All right, I got to be a little careful with this story. Lloyd, get that button ready. All right, I'm taking you to.
Oh boy.
I'm taking you to the U.S.-Mexico border.
Should we be saving this for the Sunday morning?
Yeah,
where we can get a little more loose.
Yeah. A man was indicted on a federal smuggling charge. So you're thinking of crossing the border. What are you thinking? Drugs?
Drugs.
That's what I initially went to.
Drugs or sex trafficking.
Yes.
Those are the two big things.
Well, this man is crossing the border, and he has a exceedingly large bulge in his pants.
Okay.
And the border authorities are like, bro.
Yeah, but you can't assume anything.
What's going on? And the guy said, well, you know what? I've just got what nature gave me.
Yeah, blessed.
I'm blessed.
Okay.
And the guy's like, okay, there's blessed, and then there's that.
Elephantitis.
And something's not right.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, Ron Jeremy's already in prison for something.
Yeah.
So
you are not him.
You are not him. So sure enough, they take him, and he is forced to drop trow.
Disrobe.
And he is indeed smuggling two heavily sedated, endangered parakeets in his underwear crossing the border.
What?
Yes.
Were they taped to his leg?
Yeah, here they are, by the way. They are indeed two parakeets.
That's sad.
Heavily sedated. They are still alive because apparently the market for endangered animals and the smuggling market is through the roof on that, trying to get endangered animals into the U.S. through Mexico. The birds have been cared for by veterinary services at the southern border and were transferred to the Department of Agriculture Animal Import Center. And look, hey, at least one of them's all good. He's up and going.
Guys.
He's doing all right. He's seen some things, though, that nobody should be forced to see. And so, unfortunately, this man is now, if convicted, which he will be, he could face a maximum of 20 years in prison and a $250,000 fine.
Good. I hope this guy, I hope they just hammer this guy. Okay, I just need to paint this picture.
Oh, okay. By the way, the birds were wrapped in two brown sacks and were taped to the front of his underwear. Yes.
Okay, so now picture this. Let's just imagine that there are giants in this land, and they're leaving Mexico, and one of them picks you up by your scruff and sedates you and tapes you to his inner quad.
Yes.
Underneath his pants and near his undies.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, you're taped to that quad, partially sedated, but you're
still aware of what's going on.
Your senses are there, and you're like,
oh. Man, it's musty in here.
It's, you know, it just everything that would come with it, you know, the noises and everything. That's not right to do.
No, it's not. No.
Would you want to be in a brown paper sack?
Tapped to a man's groin?
No,
I would not. No.
So that's these parakeets.
Yeah. Come on. They deserve better.
Parakeets, really? That's what we're smuggling too?
Yeah. Apparently the whether it's monkeys, parakeets, all kinds of animals they're smuggling.
Are they trying to get monkeys across the border?
They are.
Oh, man.
I could see you with a pet monkey.
So tell me what.
By the way, in fact,
me, Lloyd?
Yes, you.
I would love a pet.
I know you would.
In fact, 81 monkeys earlier in the story, they were smuggled through the border.
My goodness.
Look, they're all wrapped up in that blue tarp, and they tried to smuggle 81 monkeys.
Apparently, they didn't see the movie Outbreak.
Yeah.
So tell me what the penalty is for this guy. I'm hoping they put him under the prison.
20 years and $250,000 fine.
I hope he gets it.
You're never going to see a dime of that $250,000.
We got to send a message, man. These are living creatures.
I know. All right, Bart's hanging out with us right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.